Katrina, welcome to India today.
Thank you.
First of all, many, many congratulations.
Thank you
the
so
film
much.
is a huge hit. More than that, the love that is coming towards Zoya. I have to address the elephant in the room. Is something that people have been campaigning for the longest time. It's time. I think it's due that Zoya gets her own spin-off. And I know this, that every time you get this question asked, you have this smile on your face. What will it take for us to get a Zoya spin-off?
I agree with you. I think that it would be a lot of fun to see what you could do with Zoya as a character in her own film. But having said that, I also love doing the Tiger series because, you know, it was my friend who said this to me yesterday, actually, the director of Tiger Zinda, which was the second one.
Yeah.
He said that, you know, for me, Tiger and Zoya are one unit. And I realized that actually that is kind of true. If you go to see the films, like from Ek Tha Tiger, when we saw Tiger and Zoya, you saw these two really fiery, independent, dynamic personalities who, when they met, just kind of seamlessly blended against all odds, organically, you know? And then in the second one, again, you kind of saw that there's a certain ease, I would say, to the way the characters are written. They kind of go hand in hand. So, of course, although I think it would be amazing to do that one day, and now that this whole this whole world has become
multiverse.
a multiverse now, you know. So where we started out with Ek Tha Tiger, now there's so many different pieces to this spy universe. It's called. I think that there's so many exciting things we can do, but wonderful for us always, and wonderful for me when we're on that Tiger set. There's a feeling of coming home.
Yeah.
There's a feeling of familiarity. There's a feeling of warmth, and I think it's just always a special time.
You know, you mentioned a very interesting point, and I personally feel that Tiger completes Zoya and Zoya completes Tiger. They are in unison.
Yeah.
You can't see one without the other, and they're there for a reason, right? Also, I love the fact that there was so much of a backstory we got to see of Zoya. Like, what was her childhood like? Fleeting glimpses of what made her, what makes her make these decisions, that straight face that she has. Why is she so much in pain? Why is she struggling? There was so much we deep dived into. And I felt like you didn't get out of character even for a second. Like, I felt you were so consistent from the first frame till the last, whether it's the action, whether it's the romance, all of that. And you invest so much into Zoya. I feel it's a character that you've taken to. Tell me, when was the first time you realized that Zoya is getting so much love from your fans? I mean, you've done so much, right?
In this film or in all?
Overall.
Overall. I think Manish, our director, he was someone who continuously said to me that I love Zoya as a character. And you know, at the end of the day, a film is a director's medium, right? What the director feels and the way he sees the story is actually the way that it's going to be delivered to the audience, no matter what actors do. And I think it was because Adi and Sridhar had written such a fantastic backstory, written such a fantastic role for Zoya, which took her character forward, right? It didn't just kind of, it wasn't status quo. She was there, she was stronger, she was tougher, she was more aggressive, she was fighting harder, you know? Everything was just more in the film. And with that combined, with the fact that Manish always had a love for Zoya's character. I could see it. And I think that's what we saw translate on the screen. We saw that he took a lot of care into every little detail. He was invested in those scenes. He was invested in Zoya's character, in Tiger's character, in how he was going to take the story forward with both of them.
Let's talk about the hammam scene. I mean, come on. That moment in the film, you have to get off your phones, you have to stop eating your popcorn, stop looking everywhere because you're like glue, you're fixated to the screen. You've made it look so easy, but I'm sure on set that day or in days leading to that shot, just run me through that period.
It was tough. The rehearsals were good. They were good. I had a lot of time. I always like to have time, so they set the action sequences at, early enough. We were solid on the floor when we went on to shoot. So we had done a lot of rehearsals, and me and the actress who I'm fighting in the film, she's actually she has a lot of action training. You could say that she in some way is a professional. I'm not a professional on that level like she is, but it's always better to fight with a professional, because then you get your speed. You know,
right.
If two people are fighting who are both actors, sometimes that can show. But when one is a professional, the fight always looks sharper. It looks more dynamic. It looks edgier. And we would be at it in the rehearsals. When we finally went onto the floor, what happened is, the lady who normally kind of is there with me on set and is what you call your action double, who will step in for certain shots that, you know, it's maybe tough for you to do or you cannot do. She actually felt sick. And I was like, oh my God. No, how am I going to do this?
Of all the days.
Of all the days. I could not believe it. I was in shock. And it was actually my trainer who sat with me, and he said that, you know, I had called him and I said, listen, I can't do this. I'm tired. Every part of me is tired. Everything in my body is hurting. Like, this is not fair. This can't happen. I can't lose my support.
Right.
And he said, see, if you take this as a challenge, if you come to set every day in the morning and tell yourself, let me see how much I can tolerate today. Let me see how much I can take today. Bring it on, whatever it is. If someone throws something at you, say, I'm sure maybe you can have something even more tough for me. And it was that just attitude, it was that shift in my mind that actually, I think, gave us the kind of energy and power in that sequence to pull it through. Because it was a phenomenal sequence. And,
yes.
It was a sequence which Adi had ideated on right from the beginning of the film. He knew that there were certain key moments, and we've never seen a sequence like that before, where, you know, you're actually seeing this woman, these two women fight, but you're seeing like the struggle also. It's not just that it's a glamorous, pretty moment.
Absolutely,
you know.
not. The style doesn't go off. More than that, the anger in their eyes, the hatred that they have for each other is consistent.
So you're seeing that aggression, and it was good fun. It was good fun, but it was tough. Everyone was like
injuries?
This on the set.
Scraped knees.
There actually, funny enough, was not that. There was the one sequence I didn't get an injury. And that probably was because I was so psyched up, you know, you're so charged up mentally that probably your mind and your body are completely in sync. Whereas sometimes what happens, like say in the tunnel sequence or in the Russia sequence in the action, because you're coming from, you know, life. Sometimes you get into action, but you're not completely prepared. So I actually had an injury in the tunnel sequence. I had an injury in the Russia sequence. Both of those sequences. I had some, not major, but like I tore a hamstring, that. Little things had happened there. There was the one sequence I actually didn't get an injury.
Wow.
But you would go home at the end of the day, like you would walk to your car kind of like that. Like, oh my God, ow, ow.
Well, listen, it was worth it. I mean, you made it look easy, like I said, right? And it also sort of reminded me of just the discipline that you've had. It's just been so consistent. I know you sort of get bogged down when people throw this question about work ethic and how consistent that has been and how hardworking you are. It's an adjective that has often been used to describe you by your peers, people who work with you. But tell me, how has your definition of perhaps your own journey evolved over the years? Because you have sort of always looked at a film and a role with that same enthusiasm, right? Whether the film has worked or whether it hasn't, you haven't stopped giving. And how does one do that? Because in an industry that is so rapidly evolving, competitive, how does one stay grounded?
So I've always been obsessive about what I do. And I think as an actor, you have to be obsessive. I think that's required. That kind of commitment and immersing yourself in the film, in whatever it is you're doing, that's what brings to life what you see on screen. At least that's how I've always been. Like, my films become my world for that time. And what the benefit of that is you give yourself totally to something, and then you see that result on screen. But then when the film is over, also sometimes you're left kind of feeling like alone, you know, because that world is over. And I think that passion, that determination is what has seen me through, the drive. When it comes to being on set and when it comes to being on screen, my kind of motto is that you got to be excellent. You will not always hit that mark, but you got to try, and your intention and your desire, it has to be to achieve excellence. You know, just being there is not going to deliver those kind. It's not good enough, and that's what I try and do with every film, is make sure I bring that fire, make sure I bring that that discipline, and then the rest is. It's in the hands of the team, right? It's in the hands of the director. It's in the hands of the audience. You just have to know at the end of the day when you go home that you were there on set every day, 1,000% focused, sharp, determined, and you brought your game.
Yeah, you're again making it sound very easy, but we know
it's not easy. It's not easy.
Absolutely.
Like I have said many times, and like I have told friends of mine, who then later used, liked the term, and how many people have repeated it, but it was something told to me once by a Cirque du Soleil performer.
Wow.
You know, so that's like the famous circus, and they do incredibly painful, difficult things. And I asked them one time, like, how do you do it? And they were like, well, this was a girl, and she said, I adopted this philosophy, which is that you observe what you feel, and you do what you must. And that was something which always kind of stayed with me. There's a part of me that is observing how I'm feeling. So if you're tired, if you're in pain, if maybe something else is going on in your life, if you're distracted, I observe that, but then I do what I need to do.
Wow, that's deep.
Is it?
Yeah, it is. It reminds me of a Michael Singer book that I have read long back.
Oh, which one?
Yeah, Untethered.
The Untethered Soul,
yes. It sort of takes me back to that book. Coming to a little lighter question and a fun one. If in the Spyverse Rapid Fire you had to choose between Kabir and Pathaan, because you've teamed up with Tiger, who's the one agent that you think would be a fun sidekick to have, given the choice? Now Tiger's off the...
Well, this is a phenomenal film that I'm doing, first of all, where Pathaan and Kabir is my sidekick.
Yeah, why not? Give Zoya her flowers, I feel. I mean, it's due.
Listen, I think the wonderful thing about the Spyverse, or the Spy Universe, is that all the characters are so well written, and they have such strong identities of their own, that you kind of can put any piece anywhere, you know, like every piece fits beautifully, and that's in the strength of the characters, is because everyone has been, especially now with Tiger, with Zoya, this is the third film that we've done, they have, like, you know who these people are.
Right.
You have that, even if you don't realize it, at the back of your mind, you have a familiarity with them. So whatever story or situation they come into, I think it's going to be a lot of fun to see.
Okay, that's well put. I'll take that. That's well put. If Rubai and Zoya had a face-off, who do you think would win? Now that I really, that's playing in your head right now.
See, let's put it this way. I think that I think that Zoya, in her experience, probably is seeming to me from. I mean, I don't know all the backstories, but is seeming to me to be the most experienced agent. So, with more experience comes more fighting experience. So, I mean, I leave it to you. I leave it to you to decide.
We'll give that merit card and experience checklist there. Manish, Ali, and Kabir. I mean, you've worked all of them, and what brilliant directors!
Yeah.
They've brought these visuals to life. Tell me, if between the three of them, if one had to direct the Zoya spin-off, who would you choose?
Oh, wow. You want to get me in trouble, right? You just want to get me in trouble. Listen, I think that whenever that day comes, and if ever we're doing something like that, I mean, I know that Adi, at the end of the day, he is very sharp in his vision, you know, and I know that he will find the right team. It's about everyone. The entire team has to come together to deliver a film like that, a film that will click. And at the end of the day, he will work with a person for any film. And this I know about Adi as a producer. He will work with a person who he believes will do the best for the job, but also the person who's the most in love with the project.
Yeah,
you know?
Heart.
The heart.
I think Adi is all
it's the
about
heart
that.
and the mind connect.
Yeah, we are waiting for that heart and mind connect. We want that. You know, interestingly, also like Halle Berry in Catwoman or Michelle Pfeiffer in Catwoman, then Angelina Jolie in Tomb Raider. Over the years, we've all watched these women, right?
Yeah.
And now we speak so much about Zoya, or for that matter, Rubai, or women who are doing action and they can. And they're also on posters of these male-dominated, whatever, Bollywood industry films. Do you feel like, I mean, this question is often asked that, oh, women are getting these kind of roles now, is it a little late, or is it this? What has been your take? I mean, you've always sort of been very clear in terms of what you want to do, right?
I feel that it's wonderful to see that these kind of strong female characters are being written and are being shown on screen. And I think that it's only been being taken a step ahead with every film we do. You know, with each film, like with Tiger 3, I feel that it is a step ahead for Zoya from Tiger Zindagi.
Yeah.
And I feel that that is progressively going ahead, and I'm sure that Adi is doing that with all the characters in, you know, with all his female characters, because that is what the audience wants to
Yes.
see. They don't want to stick to a certain format. Men do this, women do this. No, men do this and women do this, and it's, you know, it depends on what the story demands. There's no dictation as to who needs to do what in the film.
Yeah.
So I think that we're seeing that change in the writing, and I think it's an exciting time. I think it's really an exciting time to see what can be done. Women can fight. You know, look at Charlize Theron. Look at Halle Berry.
Yeah.
You know, we've seen that in big films, or even Anne Hathaway, and you know,
of course.
she was phenomenal in
Batman,
that film, in Batman. So we've seen that, and those are fiery, fierce characters. And now from here, we can only take it ahead, and we need to take it ahead and take it even more forward. I think that there's so much we can do with these characters.
How is Katrina celebrating the love that's coming Tiger's way? I mean, you have a husband who's championing for you. He literally is your cheerleader. There's so much love that comes from him every time your name comes up in our chats with him. And a family now, an extended
Yes,
family, right?
yes.
How do they sort of give you that love, that extended warmth?
Well, Shyamji, of course, as we know, my father-in-law is an action director.
Yeah.
So he was, I think, the happiest to hear and to see all the praise that for Zoya's action. He was like, see, this is now you've made me even more proud. So that was really special, because I could see he was so happy. It's like, everyone's saying you've done the action so well. And that was really lovely. And of course, Vicky loved the film. And in fact, that's exactly what he had said to me as well, that I felt that there was a character presented. You know, it didn't matter whether it was Katrina, whether there was an actress. It was just a strong character that was constantly there throughout the film in terms of the graph.
Yeah, the
you know?
the line.
The graph of Zoya was consistent.
Yeah.
It didn't ever jump out of the character, and I think that was something which he thought was really really noteworthy.
Are you easy on yourself when your film comes out, or are you one who will like sort of go into this space where you're like, I don't want to see my phone's buzzing?
Well, this time it was better because it released on Diwali Day. So on Diwali Day, you are with your families, right? I mean, so that was there. I was having fun, and I learned on the second day, by the way, that I learned for the first time in my life. Someone taught me how to play like cards, like one particular version of cards. Don't even ask me what it was.
Is it Teen Patti?
No. That was fine. It was something between, like, you put a card between this one, and if your number comes in between, like all these sort of variations was going on. So I was actually having a lot of fun, and I think that was a good thing. So you're not like constantly engaged in your phone.
Yeah.
But I think the love and support during the Diwali season that we've had just made the whole kind of festival seem like more special to me this time.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just feel like, I mean, I have to end by saying that you have the most consistent fan base and the most loyal fan base. I think they've been with you through thick and thin. They have followed your journey. They have just been unconditional. And I think that's a very rare trait for an actor to get, like I said, because films come and go, faces change. You sometimes go to the backseat, you're forgettable if you're not around. But you've been there. You've not just been there, not just been relevant, but you've sort of, like I said, you've put the pressure on yourself to be at the top of the game. Just for anybody who's watching this and perhaps is struggling with things like these, to, you know, whether it's mental health or whether it's staying relevant or in an industry wants to get in, what's the one thing you would like to say? Because you've sort of now had a career that is still going so strong legs.
I think exactly like you said, the audience and the support I've had from my audience and people coming to see my films has just been phenomenal. And I feel that people always connect to an emotion. And I think that is what is translated. That people can see, they can connect with you on screen. They can connect to the fact that you're entirely there, you're present. And I think in the words of Tiger, you know, you got to keep fighting, which has always been the essence and the running theme in Tiger. I think they summed it up in Salman's dialogue, which is there, na? Jab tak Tiger mara nahi, tab tak Tiger hara nahi.
Yes.
So I think that's in one line, the essence of what I kind of feel as well. You know, you got to fight. You got to fight for anything in life. If it's worth having, it's worth fighting for. And put yourself out there. Put yourself out there. Love what you do, and that love is going to translate to your audience.
Wow, I think that's something that you really believe in, because you're not saying it for the sake of it. Congratulations once again.
Thank you.
I'm vouching for a Zoya franchise. I'm
Thank you
vouching
so much.
for a spin-off, and a lot of people online are speaking about that. I quickly want to get a message for the Indian cricket team, if you can, for the World Cup. It's on the 19th. If you could send a message to them in the camera.
Hi, this is Katrina Kaif, wishing Team India all the best for the finals, and you're going to rock it.
Thank you.
Thank
That was
you so
good.
much.
Thank you so much, Katrina.